Hey Cardinal fans, we're talking about North Central's big win in St. Louis over Wash U, 46-13 the final. Records fall for a pair of Cardinals. Broc Rutter breaks the career marks for completions and yards, while Andrew Kamienski nabs 15 passes. That is a new single-game record. Andrew's on the show, along with Captain Bryan Beauchamp, and we catch up with receivers from past and present teams to break down what makes Broc the best QB in the program's history on the Cardinal Corner. But up first, Jeff Thorne joins me on set, so join us for the Red Zone.
The presenting sponsor of the Red Zone is Athletico, the preferred provider of physical therapy and athletic training for North Central College.
Welcome into the Red Zone. Jeff Thorne joining me on set, and Wash U. I mean, that's a big win. That's a team that really surprised a lot of people last year with the quality of their wins. You went down to St. Louis and took care of business. You have to be feeling pretty good leaving that game. Yeah,
you know, getting out of there with a win would have been pretty satisfying. The way that we won was really, really remarkable. I was proud of the way that our guys played. They played hard for 4 quarters. We talked about 6 for 60, 6 seconds for 60 minutes, and they did that.
Third down conversions, I know that you really like to harp, because that, I mean, those are pressure situations. You kind of get to test the mettle of your team. Yeah. 13 of 16. I know you're probably very well aware of that number.
Yeah, you know, we led the nation in third down conversion percentage a year ago, so that's something, it's a statistic and a game situation that we take a lot of pride in. Yeah. Our preparation, how we work toward the results that we had on Saturday. Coach Spencer's done just an awesome job, along with Coach Studeman, in preparing our guys for those third down scenarios. And then we see the fruits of our labor during the week and how hard the guys focus and work towards that on Tuesday and Wednesday.
I talked to Andrew after the game. He'll be on set in a moment, but I asked him, does it feel nice as an offense not feeling discouraged when you get to third, even third and long? Yeah. Knowing that you can go out there, you can pick a play, and you can execute it, you know, almost to perfection on Saturday. Yeah, you know, it's third down's everything. If you can't, if defensively you can't get off the field, you're in trouble. If offensively you can't sustain drives, the best teams in the country aren't going to allow you to throw, you know, 30, 40, 50-yard touchdown passes and break off, you know, chunk play runs for touchdowns. You've got to be able to put 8, 9, 10 play drives together against really good teams to be successful. And third down's a huge part of that. Yeah. Andrew, 15 catches in this game. He doesn't. Is that all he did? I think so. Okay. In the moment, it didn't feel like 15, though. It just seemed like he was picking up 10, 11 yards every time he grabbed the ball. And after the game, 15 catches, 180 yards. He breaks that record. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable. You know, the irony is I'm fairly certain Tyke held the record at 14, and then Mike tied it last year, but Tyke set it against Wash U back in 05. Wow. Yeah, so honestly, I felt like he was, at halftime, I remember thinking he's got to have 10 catches. And I think he had 9 at halftime. So he's just that go-to guy. He's a clutch pressure player, has been, again, since day one as a freshman. Yeah. He really kind of burst on the scene at the Wheaton game his freshman year. Big play after big play. Yeah. So we expect the same kind of stuff from him the rest of the way. Blake Williams bursted onto the scene last week, and this week really solidified himself, looks like, as a deep threat down a sideline. Yeah. It's got to be nice to have that ability to stretch the field as an offense. It's a huge development for our team, not just our offense, our entire team. Going into the year, we lost some really good receivers last year to graduation, and you know, we knew we had Drew coming back, and we had some guys that have been in the program for 2 years, going to be juniors. And his development, Matt Metz, Corey Blair, certainly D'Angelo Hardy coming in as a freshman and being able to help us, has really taken a lot of the stress off of Drew. Yeah. You know, Broc had 34 completions. 15 of them went to Drew. There's 19 other balls that had to be caught. And go back to the Christopher Newport game, 9 different receivers caught passes. So I think that's the testament to the work that went into the offseason of our receiving core and our tight ends, too. Yeah. Running game, too, looked explosive in this game. Ethan Greenfield, Terrence Hill, but I know up front you got to be scheming and correctly blocking. It looked like you guys did a really good job of getting to that second level in this game. Yeah, you know what? All the scheme in the world doesn't do anything for you if the players don't go out and execute it and play hard, and that is a credit to them for executing the game plan and really putting bodies on bodies and working and playing, like I said earlier, 6 seconds. Yeah. And then, you know, when you give Ethan and Terrence some space, they can do some good things with the ball. Now, last week we talked to Zach Greenberg, and I mentioned the fact that they don't have a quote-unquote playmaker in that linebacking core, a la DJ Workenthien. But Ben Wong, Bryan Beauchamp, these guys are stepping up. I think Ben led the team with 9 tackles. You pretty happy with the way that linebacking core is playing right now?
Very happy, very happy. You know, there's some things we take away from the game every week, both sides of the ball, that we can improve upon, and certainly there's some things we're working on right now.
Yeah.
But our linebackers, again, when you look at what they did in the offseason and you see these guys there day in and day out, putting the time in, early morning lifts on their own in the summertime, and you know, running around on the field every chance they had. It's not a surprise that they're playing the way they are right now because they put the work in.
Yeah. Defensively up front, I talked to Isaiah after the game, and he credited the linebackers, but that defensive line was getting after the quarterback. Johnny Davidson's a really good quarterback, and he looked flustered in that game because of that pressure. He's
a dynamite quarterback. He's really hard to contain. He kind of a lot of Fran Tarkenton, if you can go all the way back that far. You know, present day Aaron Rodgers runs around a little bit, buys time to throw the ball, and that's really what he wants to do. He wants to throw the ball. He'll run if he has to. I think the key to the game, ironically, was the way that our secondary covered and our linebackers covered.
Yeah.
Our D-line did a great job of getting pressure, but it doesn't. You can get pressure, but if you're not covering, the ball gets out. He didn't have any place to throw it.
Yeah.
And so it was really a collective effort of all 11 guys on defense allowing those sacks to happen. I think we had 5 sacks.
Yeah. The secondary you just mentioned, but I want to spot out one particular guy, and that's Tim Meyerhofer, because, again, kind of an unknown, at least from the outside looking in, going into this season. From everything I've seen, he looks like a legitimate safety that could really make an impact this year.
Go back to what I was just saying about those receivers that are juniors now.
Yeah.
They really hadn't had any playing time. All they've done is worked from the time they came in and just bought into what the program's about, bought into hard work, and they're seeing, you know, the results. Same thing with Tim. He was another guy just like Brian and Corey and Blake that were there all summer long, lifting, and he changed his body. He's running a lot faster than he did in his first 2 years. And that's what you want to see as a head coach, you know, is you want to see guys develop in the program that maybe haven't had success early on, that as a junior and a senior, they burst onto the scene. Now they're a more mature player, they're stronger, they're faster, and you're seeing the results of that with so many of the guys that I've mentioned.
Now, most of the time, those younger guys that you maybe want to see fill those spots later on are on special teams. You had a big one in this one, the block punt for a safety. I think it was Dakota Kamienski who got his hand in there, right? How exciting, how much does that pump up the sideline when something like that happens?
It's huge. It's enormous. You know, we thought we could get to one, and if you watch the play, if you saw it, I mean, he was horizontal to the ground. He laid out, and it was a beautiful play. Really gave us another boost of momentum at that point in the game.
We're going to check the tape, but first we're going to take a break. We'll get more coming up next on the Red Zone. Welcome back, and now it's time to check the tape. And Coach, I'm a broken record. Every week we're going to analyze one throw from Broc that seems to completely confuse me into 5 physics. This one takes the cake, and I don't quite understand how he's able to throw this ball 40 yards on a dime, rolling to his left.
I was amazed too. The only thing I was hoping is it was in the air because the wind was blowing kind of hard toward our sideline. So the only question I had was, is that throw, is it going to stay in bounds? But I'll tell you what, the guy that caught it just keeps making play after play after play, Blake Williams. And he's been, we talked just a minute ago, what an amazing development that's been. It's been so much fun for me to watch it personally because he's a guy that was at Mattia Valley High School when my son was there. He caught, I think he caught Peyton's first or second touchdown pass in high school.
Cool.
So they had a little bit of a connection there. But his development has been unbelievable. Blake's has, you know, I know I'm diverting from your question with Broc.
That's fine. That's
amazing.
Fine.
It's an amazing throw, but we're just so used to that.
Yeah.
Blake's development is just enormous, and I couldn't be happier for a kid because he's wanted it so bad. He's worked his tail off, and really what separates Blake from a lot of guys that might have similar talent or maybe even more talent, Blake's just a competitor. he wants to compete every single opportunity he has. It means a lot to him.
Second time you've taken a hidden gem from Mattia Valley and turned him into a stud receiver.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Mike Spick was pretty good.
Yeah. Let's get to this one. We just talked about Mayerhofer a second ago, but I want to talk about the anticipation, because I feel like this is when the homework shows up on the test.
Yeah.
You know, he saw this question pop up and he knew exactly what to do with it.
You know, we talk all the time about where are your eyes. Your eyes have to go where they're supposed to go. Read your key, and your key's going to tell you what to do. Trust it.
Yeah.
And there you go. And that's a tackle for loss.
And then the last play I want to get to is the Braden Lynn mark. And this, to me, I felt like this was shades of maybe a Jeremy Nicholas or a Brandon Kibbe, where he anticipates this route, he knows what's going to happen, and he puts himself in a position to make a play. Yeah,
you know, I saw the post-game interviews, and Braden was interviewed, and he mentioned the preparation, the coaching staff letting him know, hey, to the boundary side, here's what you expect. But again, that only goes as far as our speaking about it. Our players, they have to execute that, and that's another great example of guys being coachable and then going out and executing it, expecting it, knowing what to expect, and then again, trusting their eyes, and a great play by Braden. That was another one that was a huge momentum changer. They had a chance to get back in it with a touchdown there, and it just completely ended the game, quite honestly, and then we went on a long drive and put the thing away.
Yeah. You just mentioned the coaching staff, putting your guys in position. I want to talk about that coaching staff because you have some new faces.
Yeah.
Some familiar faces, though. Studeman comes back. And ironically, as Andrew hunts down his record, he's now on the coaching staff as the offensive line coach.
Right.
What's that addition been like? You're pretty pleased with it?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Eric is he was one of my all-time favorite players, you know, when he played for us back from 03 to 06. Was a senior the year that we won our first conference championship. You know, they were a part of that first European trip to Italy. Just a special group of people, and Eric was one of the absolute best. Just integrity-filled, everything you look for in a coach.
Yeah.
From the loyalty to the work ethic to the knowledge. You know, he's been a lot of different places, and that was important to me too, because I, as a head coach, can leverage some of his experiences. You know, really having only learned from my dad, it's nice to have someone else on staff that's got that kind of experience and can talk about the ways different people did it. He's been invaluable, and he's doing a phenomenal job with our guys up front.
Another new guy, and actually kind of corresponds with it, is the new running back coach, Dan Starkey.
Yeah.
What was that addition? How did that come about?
You know, Dan coached with my father at Wheaton Warrenville South for a few years, and that was at a time when I was finishing college, and you know, I'd go to games, maybe a practice here or there. So I got to know Dan a little bit. And then he had head coaching stints at Glenbard South, then at New Trier, most recently at Lockport. Played football collegiately at Illinois State, so he's just got a really good resume.
Yeah.
He wanted to coach at the college level, and I jumped at the opportunity, and he's been dynamite.
Now, you lose Matt Sutherland, which is, you know, it's sad because, you know, Sudsy was a fun player to watch, but you get his dad on staff.
Yeah, we pick up Sud Sr. He's been amazing, too. He's just, you talk about a guy with a lot of great experience and wisdom. Don was, I think, their defensive coordinator at Cary Grove High School for like 40 years, was the head baseball coach as well for 31, dual sport athlete at Augustana when he was in college, and just, you know, one of the best people you'll ever run into. Perfect segue. It's like we planned this kind of thing. You're a quick hit. Yeah. So if you could play for one legendary head coach, who would that be? John Wooden, hands down. I just, you know, I've done a lot of reading about him, John Wooden's Pyramid of Success, and we use a lot of his philosophy in our own program. I just think the guy was a master at understanding people and treating people the right way. And certainly, I wish I could say that I hit the mark. I don't. But that's what we're working toward as a coaching staff is trying to build character within our players, and nobody did it better than John Wooden. Awesome, Coach. Good luck against North Park, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Kevin. Coming up next, a couple of the players join me on set. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
This Red Zone segment is brought to you by Jimmy John's.
It's that time again, the play of the week. And for the second game in a row, records fall. And on this play, Broc Rutter finds Andrew Kamienski for the 15th time, a new single-game record for a receiver. It's also the second touchdown connection between the two. Oh, and Broc, now the career leader in completions and passing yards, passing the great Cam Kniss.
Welcome back on set. A couple of veteran guys joining me. Andrew, I want to start with you. 15 catches. Congratulations. I know the offense, you can't be focused on records. Otherwise, you have no time for anything else this year. But in that game, was it kind of enjoyable to go through and be so heavily involved in the offense?
Yeah, just going through, thinking back, like playing, you don't realize what's going on, how many catches or yards you have. You just keep playing the game and then the ball finds you. But as going on, being the guy is kind of something that I've always wanted to be and what I work every day for. But it's a team effort, collective effort. We don't get anything done without the O-line up front. We don't get anything done with quarterbacks, and we don't get anything done with the scout team and prepping us for that week and watching film.
There's one play I want to highlight. It wasn't the most impressive play as far as stats go, but there was a first down that you were hunting for. I think it was 3rd and about 10 or so. You catch the ball short of the sticks. You took a whack, but you stayed up and you stretched out. Do you remember that play?
Yeah.
Is that kind of the grit that you want to kind of lead by example, showing on the field?
Yeah, that's my style of play. I'm one of the very few. I like contact.
Yeah.
I kind of dip my head in there all the time, but that's just who I am. So, I mean, yeah, it was a play that needed to be done, and first downs, everything, keep the drive going.
Yeah. Bryan, you don't like contact at all, do you?
No, I don't know.
That linebacking core is fun, though. You guys welcome the punishing hits. You want to level that kind of stuff. How fun has it been flying around the field this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We kind of talked about a second ago, having all those guys, the same kind of core guys together for the last 3 or 4 years has been really good to, be able to kind of grow with each other. Going back to, me and Greenberg back freshman year, being on kickoff team, we've always just kind of enjoyed that aspect of, flying down the field and just hitting somebody. So, and I think that's the kind of mentality that all of the entire linebacking core has.
Coach mentioned it, how you've worked your tail off for the last 4 years to get to this moment. Let's go back to Christopher Newport. You're on the field for the first defensive snap. What was that moment like?
I mean, it was cool. It was kind of a culmination of all the work that had been put in. Sitting behind, watching Tommy Sora, watching DJ, watching Sturz, learning from all those guys, and to finally kind of get that opportunity to step out was a great opportunity. And it comes nothing without the work that we put in the offseason. Me and Greenberg and Wong and Wiccan all summer long just working out together. So it was pretty cool to step out there for that first time.
That lineage is pretty impressive. I mean, you can go back 15 years and find linebackers at every stage that have made their mark. Have you guys talked about, as a group, trying to make your mark collectively this year?
Yeah. Every day we talk about the kind of legacy that we want to leave and being able to do something that we haven't done here before. Yeah. That's just a whole team thing. We want to be able to, we have the talent to do something that a team that hasn't done before. We want to get past, the second round, have all these goals that we have. But like I said, it's nothing without the work, and it comes, earning it every single day is something we talk about every single day, every single play. Yeah. So it's just a culmination of all that.
Now, you guys in the receiving room have some players that have worked their way up and now are on basically the varsity team starting. Coach talked about it, and he's really impressed with the guys like Blake Williams, Corey Blair, Matt Metz. Is it nice for you, as one of the leaders of that room, to see that hard work pay off for those guys?
Yeah, it's cool to see, but it's nothing that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. I've seen the work that they do. I've seen that they were all able to play last year if they had the opportunity. Matt Metz stepped in against Carthage last year, big third down conversion for 40-plus yards. That's just the type of mentality they bring. It's cool to see. Now they're actually getting a chance and doing what I expect them to do every week.
Now, it's easy for us to talk about the production they have, but you get to see the off the field and in the the meetings room. What kind of characters do you guys have there?
It's a fun room with Coach Spencer. He comes in fired up every day, but he sets the tone of when to have fun and when to focus and, okay, we actually got to work and get stuff done now. So it's fun to be in that room, and we all goof off, and it's cool.
Now, I don't feel like I'm privy to the goofiness of this offense, because I hear Broc's a fun goof, Blake Williams. What is it about them that gives off that persona?
It's just their off-the-field personality. When they're on the field, everyone just flips a switch and their mindset changes. We have one goal, and that's to win a national championship. Yeah. So nothing's going to hold us back from around the field. But off the field, when we're watching film, we study it together, we watch, and then but when we're not doing anything football related, and we're all having fun, goofing off, we're the best of friends.
Yeah. How about that defense? What kind of characters we got over there?
We got a couple of characters. They're definitely guys that aren't quite as goofy, but really quirky. I'd say Kamienski is a really quirky kind of kid.
Really?
Yeah, he's real laid back, but there's times you just look at him and you're like, all right, what are we doing here? But, there's a lot of characters on our defense, and I think that's something that's, really cool. We have guys that are, like Beasley and Linebacker that are more laid back and reserved. Yep. We have guys that are really loud and talkative like Greenberg, or, the defensive line, Isaiah, he'll like to get up and cheer sometimes. But, there's a lot of different personalities that come together on the defense and make it really fun.
Lindmark, after the interception, he got up, he celebrated, and then he sprinted 80 yards downfield to the bench, and he grabbed the rat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, got to have the rat, of course. Every turnover, we got to have the rat.
Can I ask where that originated? I know it was kind of partially a secret last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, where it comes from is kind of a secret. That's our defensive thing that we came up with.
Sure.
But, obviously it's something that, the people in the stands and people watching the games have noticed. It's kind of like, what is that? Which may or may not have been the intention, but, that's kind of a defensive thing that we like to keep.
All right. Nothing like a little mystery. That's perfect. All right, you guys ready for the quick hits?
Yeah, we do.
All right, I prepped you guys a little bit, so here we go. Bryan, we'll start with you. You're a professional athlete, but not in the NFL. So what kind of pro athlete are you?
I'd say probably baseball. Coach Thorne kind of talked about it, but, played baseball in high school. And baseball is one of those games where, it's intense, but at the same time, there's a laid-back feeling to it, So being able to, play multiple times a week and stuff like that, it's more, laid back, not as physically taxing on your body, but you still get to have fun with it.
I'm going to guess third baseman.
Outfield, actually.
Outfield.
I was an outfielder.
Right. Drew, how about you?
For me, I would have to say basketball.
Basketball.
Just so you play all the time, and I just like how it's you could just take it. It's kind of similar with like physical standpoint, but I just think NBA is fun to watch. College basketball is fun, but I would want to be a deadly three-point shooter. I think that would be sweet.
Not just a three-point shooter.
Yeah, just like a Seth Curry.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Nice. All right. Andrew, we'll start with you this time around. What is your go-to snack?
Probably Cheez-Its when I'm just sitting, hanging out.
Those are
the extra toasty ones.
Yeah.
Those are.
Polish off a box in one sitting?
Easily.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a big peanut butter and jelly guy. You can ask anybody in the locker room. I got a stash of bread and peanut butter in my locker that I kind of keep. And if I'm ever hungry, I'll just whip up peanut butter and
crust
jelly real quick.
Huh? Crust and all?
Oh yeah. I can't leave out the crust.
Yeah, right.
People that do that are kind of weird.
Thank you. All right, last one. Bryan, we'll start with you on this one. You can point to one famous coach other than Jeff Thorne. Who do you having coach you?
We're talking about offset. I'd probably go with Nick Saban. I think obviously the level of accountability they have in that program is really cool, and something I'd like to see from the inside, because obviously from an outside perspective, you don't really get to see in the meetings, what they how they carry themselves. You see the product on the field, and that all goes back to coaching. So I'd love to see how they go about accomplishing that kind of stuff.
Cool. Andrew, you?
I got two in mind, but I'm going to go with Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Being so young and just being able to do what he's done for the 2 or 3 years being a Rams head coach.
Yeah.
It's cool to see what he's doing. I would just like to see how different he is from the older guys like Belichick or someone like that. Just see how much different it is.
Who's the second guy?
Belichick.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. McVay is he's a different character. He seems pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks, guys, so much. North Park, good luck against the Vikings, and hopefully we'll see you next week after a win.
Cool. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Coming up next, we'll go to the Cardinal Corner. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
Hey, guys. How are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I groomed the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius, and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by Belgio's Catering.
I'm going to say against Elmhurst, over the middle, I caught a ball, beautiful pass from Broc. The middle linebacker wasn't looking, jumped over him, caught it over him, made a guy miss. But, I mean, that's the type of guy Broc is. He puts it out there for his receivers to go get it and lets them make plays. And that's a receiver's best friend for sure.
Dylan Warden's favorite catch came in the final regular season game in 2016, Broc Rutter's freshman year at quarterback, perfectly encapsulating the kind of receiver-friendly passer he's been for NCC. A transfer from Indiana State, Rutter came in for spring ball to unusual circumstances.
Broc had an interesting opportunity when he came in through spring ball right away. I had switched over to receiver, and our other quarterback just went through a labrum surgery. So Broc actually took his first spring ball from transferring into here, and he was our only quarterback on roster. So he got thrown into the fire right away, but he learned it super quick, and he turned around right after that and had 30-odd something touchdown passes as a freshman.
Rutter's first pass of that 2016 season, a 50-yard touchdown to Alex Ulmer, setting what seemed like an unobtainable pace. Except it didn't. And now 2 games into 2019, his senior season, Rutter has already set career records in yards, completions, and touchdowns.
He's the biggest competitor I've ever met. He doesn't want to lose in everything he does, whether it's we're sprinting across the line, whether we're throwing trash into a trash can, it doesn't matter.
Every day during the summer, me and Broc, a couple years ago, would be out here just throwing one route for like 20 minutes, and that's all it takes is just to get that chemistry with the guys.
Michael Svikas caught 106 passes from Rutter. Kamienski is on his own record-setting pace in his junior season, up to 153 catches, third most in program history.
Originally transferred here because of Rutter. I knew him back in high school. We played 7-on-7 together, and I was thinking about transferring high schools just to play football with him. So mine and Rutter's friendship goes back before playing football.
And now the duo is set to become the most prolific pairing in the program's history, with Warden and Svikas watching on from the sideline as part of the coaching staff.
He's not shy to work. He's not shy to putting time in on the field. So he was always reaching out to us, older receivers, and then throughout his 4 years, he's been reaching out to these guys. He always has a group that he's meeting with to throw. That's super big to him, getting the timing down. And you can see it obviously on the field. He doesn't miss. So
it's awesome. It's definitely fun to be out there with him. Miss it, but it's all good. Get to watch him now.
And plenty of Cardinal fans are eager to watch how the 2019 season unfolds, with North Central possessing one of the nation's best quarterbacks. Kamienski even thinks that fans may have a shot at watching Rutter continue playing past his collegiate days.
I don't doubt that he can. Whatever he sets his mind to, he's going to succeed. So if he gets the opportunity, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on an NFL roster. It would not surprise me at all.
But first, Rutter and company are setting their sights on a CCIW crown and a run at the national title.
Welcome back, and Sports Information Director Clark Teuscher joining me on set, and big week for you guys. Not only is it homecoming, you're debuting the new scoreboard in the Hall of Fame, and you getting any sleep?
It's a trick question right there. Yeah, it's been a weird September, just in the fact that how the scheduling has all fallen down. We rarely go through a September with 2 straight weekends with no home events on campus, which we just did, and we'll never go longer without a home football game than we're doing this year. So it's definitely been kind of upside down from a scheduling perspective. But you know, the scoreboard, you know, we're all excited about being able to debut that. It looks great. You know, we're just trying to nail down some last minute details and get that ready to go. So we think it'll be a really valuable tool for us. So it's just a matter of us taking advantage of all this new equipment and making sure it looks good.
And now homecoming right on its heels, or actually this at the same time. It's always an exciting part of the year, welcoming back old classes and ushering in a new class of Hall of Famers. Are you guys excited to get that all underway?
Always. Yeah, it's another great group this year. We've got 6 individuals from kind of a wide variety of different sports. We're getting into sports where we don't normally have a ton of inductees, like men's tennis with Sam Sweeney, who was our first national qualifier and a 2-time All-American. We've always been proud to be able to have at least one woman in the class. So Rachel Sulfridge is 2-time national champion in the women's pole vault. An excellent standard bearer for that program. We've got a special inductee in Pat Gora, who was an assistant coach for the football and track and field programs for over 30 years between the 2 programs. So somebody who was a part-time coach, that's quite a bit of dedication to helping athletes out. So we're really excited about it. It's always a great event. It's one of the great things that the college does. We're expecting a really good crowd for that, and it's really a great way to kind of lead into the rest of homecoming Saturday.
It's always cool on our end being able to go back and pour over the old videos. Cool in the sense that it's cool to see the video. It's not cool to be working off of cassettes.
Yeah. That's we're getting some more recent inductees, so we're able to use some of what was covered when they competed here with NCTV, and so we get to see some of that back into the standard definition days. So that's definitely it's also kind of a nice reminder of kind of how far we've come in that coverage as well.
Everything's a square.
Oh yeah.
all of a sudden it widens back out.
Yeah, you can always tell by that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Let's get to current day because there's some really cool things happening around campus. And I want to start with the women's golf team that just had their best performance of the fall. And they're hoping to kind of carry that momentum into the CCIW meet.
Yeah, they headed down to Milliken last weekend. It was their final competition before the conference tournament starts on Thursday. From Saturday to Sunday, they improved by 18 strokes, and it was 11 strokes better than their best previous round of the season. I think four of the 5 scoring golfers had their best rounds of the fall, which is what you want, ideally heading into a conference championship. So they're feeling pretty good about that. In terms of how that's going to translate into team standings by the end of the weekend, nobody really knows. But to be able to be playing your best golf heading into your signature event of the season, definitely a good feeling.
It's like what Al Carey says, you golf for fun and personal best, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Let's go next to women's cross country, ironically enough. And they're actually doing pretty well too. They moved up in the poll.
Yeah, they're up to number 9 in the region, and really in a week where they didn't necessarily run the whole squad. So it's more in relation to what other teams did around them. They've got a couple of weeks coming up where they're going to be racing the full squad. They're going to a very large and competitive meet hosted by Loyola Chicago at Montrose Beach on Saturday.
Cool.
It's one of the bigger meets in the country. So they're just going to get a really good look at exactly where they're at in terms of some of their best competition.
And then men's cross country has a standout performer. They've got a few of them, but this week I guess we're highlighting Matt Osmulski.
Yeah, for the third time, conference athlete of the week, finished third in the meet at it was hosted by Wheaton College at St. James Farm up in Warrenville, and actually the men's and women's national runners of the week both competed in that meet.
Wow.
So by Division III standards, it was as competitive a meet as there was in the country on Saturday. And the guys managed. They were right up against Wash U, who was ranked number 3, and beat them head up by a pretty convincing margin for such a small meet. So they've kind of locked in that number 1 national spot for at least a couple of weeks. They're not going to race this weekend. They're going to wait and then go to the pre-national meet down in Louisville on the 5th. So they look like they're going to head into that meet ranked number 1 with almost a whole new group of guys in the top 7.
It's ridiculous. They just restock the cupboard every year. And last but not least, I want to talk about men's soccer because this is a team with a new head coach we profiled last episode, but another standout, and that's Marco Soto, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I think Coach Fuschino will be the first guy to tell you that the efforts of the 4 guys in front of him on defense are really important in making sure that he's in a good position and he's not getting caught in situations where he doesn't have a chance to make a play on the ball. But they're through 8 games in their season. They've only given up 6 goals. And Marco was able to post twin shutouts in their games last week. So that's certainly to be able to have that to count on and know that all you really got to do to get a win is just put one in the net.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of pressure off the offensive side of the field. And should bode well for them as they start conference play at Milliken on Saturday.
While all those guys and girls are competing their butts off, let's talk about snacks. Your quick hit, what's your go-to snack?
Well, maybe it's my German heritage, but I'm a big pretzel guy.
Me too.
It's almost the perfect snack. You can pair it with almost anything: mustard, cheese, hummus is a good one if you're looking to go healthier. So yeah, I think that's a pretty perfect one for me.
Hard pretzels, soft pretzels?
Well, they're all good. In the office, it's more of a hard pretzel type of thing, but there's nothing better than a fresh soft pretzel.
Awesome. Clark, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That's all for our second episode. Up next, the Cardinals host North Park on homecoming. Kickoff comes at 2 p.m. Our pregame kicks off at 1:45, and you do not want to miss it. I'm Kevin Jackman, and I'll see you next week on The Red Zone.